What is conjunction? Today let us talk about conjunctions. Conjunctions is the placement of more than one planet in a particular sign. So we take on the conjunction of Moon and Venus today. What does Moon represent? As per Faldipika, Moon represents welfare of mother, inner contentment, bathing in the sea, white flag, white material. It also represents the royal insignia of the kings, the umbrella. It represents fruits, flowers, soft material. It represents silver, pearl. It represents metal out of which bells are made of. Yes, it's a different metal, bell metal. It represents milk, sweet material. It represents grains. It represents gain from women, intake of food with pleasure and happiness, looks and beauty. All things such as this should be judged from moon. It represents for people, washermen, agriculturists, fishermen. It also represents in animals, deer, chakor, and rabbit. Uttar Kulamita goes on to give a list of 80 things that it represents. Moon, that is. As per Faldipika, Venus represents prosperity, vehicles, contentment, beauty, love, affection, clothes, ornaments, treasure, again wealth that is secreted out from the earth, inclinations and achievement through dancing, singers, music, instruments. It represents clothes, again beautiful things. It relates to flowers, perfumes, fragrances. It represents businessmen. It represents people doing religious things. It represents ministers. It also represents spouse, bed pleasures, prostitutes, and people who gain money out of such activities. It represents the weavers. In animals, it represents the peacock, the buffalo, parrots, and also it represents the gymnasts. So these are the things that are represented by both Moon and Venus. Let us take on to the common point. All things that are watery come under the Moon and Venus. All things that are emotional, all things that are of beauty come under these two. Clothes, they also represent a certain category of birds. And silver, milk, these are again some common points. Another very important common point for both of them is that both of these planets gain directional strength in the fourth house. So when both of these are present together in the fourth house, they give a lot of directional strength. So let us see what the classics have to say for these two planets in conjunction. As per Saravali, should Moon and Venus be together, the person will be endowed with flowers, incense and clothes, will perform duties dear to his race, be very lazy and expert in selling and buying. If the Moon and Venus are together, the native is clever in the purchase and sale of cloth. He may be generally clever in trade and merchandise, but he is also likely to be evil-minded. He will put on fine apparels and will be fond of scents and flowers. He is liked by his people and clever in the execution of his work, but he is indolent. So how do we move it into today's parlance, in today's way of doing things? Well, such a person would be very fond of beautiful things. To start with, flowers, incense and beautiful clothes, they are beautiful. And today's day and world, this person would be fond of beautiful things. He will perform duties that are very dear to his people. So people around him would be happy by what he does because he would do things that would make them happier. He would be very lazy. Yet, having certain amount of lethargy in him, he would be clever enough, would have that mind of a businessman to be able to do the trading. So putting this all together, we can say that he would be a good businessman with a little bit of cleverness in his mind. He would have a love for beautiful things and he would be endowed with all things that are beautiful. As per Horasara, if the combination occurs in the 12th house, there is gain of money from foreign lands. What does that mean? It means that such a person has the ability to have a business from foreign lands. Now, Venus in particular is very happy in the 12th house. It gets exalted in the 12th house of the natural zodiac. If somebody has a Venus in the 12th house and a Jupiter in the Lagna, this person is very lucky because Jupiter is Digbali in the Lagna and Venus in the from the 12th house always gives a boost to the planet which is in second to it. So this already very Digbali, very strong Jupiter in the Lagna gets a boost from this Venus. As we move on further to Jatak Parijata, it states that when Moon is conjunct with Venus, the person will be evil-minded but will make clever bargains. So in all classics have to state that these people would be a little clever in the mind but would also be good tradesmen, would be fond of good things. So what does this combination hold if it is placed in the first house? When this combination or conjunction is placed in the first house, the native is fond of fine apparel, perfumes, and flowers. He has a pleasing personality and is liked by his seniors. He derives much pleasure from the company of dancing girls. Again, in today's context and modern day parlance, when we set it up, we will see that as Lagna represents the self, this person is a person who would like to have a pleasing personality, a personality that is appealing to all. He would like to have a good show, that is, would be fond of perfumes, beautiful things, would be fond of dressing up properly and smartly, and would be having a personality that is loved by all around him, especially the seniors. This person also is fond of partying and is fond of having a good time with people around him. As we move on to the example of the Queen of Sweden, she is known as Queen Sylvia. She is the longest reigning queen so far, and she married King Carl Gustaf of Sweden in 1976. He had been the ruler of Sweden since 1973. As we move on, we see that she has her Lagna as Libra, and in Libra are present Venus and Moon. Venus in the Lagna gives the much needed impetus for the Queen of Sweden to become a very much loved personality. Moon being the 10th lord adds on to her power to be able to perform her functions very beautifully. Also, she was the loved queen. She is the loved queen of her people. She is one of the longest reigning queens so far. She is loved by everyone. Now, when we are taking these conjunctions, we cannot take them in isolation from the signs that they are posited in. The signs that they are posited in go a long way in adding to the flavor or subtracting little from it. This sign being the sign of Libra. Libra is a sign where we move on to interaction with others, gives her a very exuberant personality with the ability to be in consensus with people around her. Moon is the 10th lord, again gives her the ability to move with the masses because Moon also represents the masses. So it makes her a dear of the masses. We would be taking up more such conjunctions in the coming times, but before that, we will be continuing on with this particular conjunction with many other placements in the coming video. If you have liked this video, please leave in your comments, and if you want to see any other conjunction, please do leave a message. We would be happy to take it up for some other time. Thank you so much. Till then, have a nice day.